Welcome to the Real Estate Ripple, where every conversation makes waves in the world of real estate. I'm Christy.
I'm Joe.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Carl. And each week we bring you the latest insights, expert advice, and game-changing tips on everything from market trends and lending strategies to local developments right here in Joliet and beyond.
Whether you're a seasoned realtor, a mortgage pro, or just passionate about property market, this podcast is the one that's going to keep you informed and inspired.
So let's dive in and make some ripples together.
Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Ripple over here at Three Rivers Association of Realtors. This is our podcast where we're going to be talking about what sellers need to look for as they list their property for sale. Before we jump into this, my name's Joe Medrano. I'm part of the podcast group, along with my co-host.
I'm Megan Wendtland.
And I'm Scott Seaton from SLS Home Inspections.
And Scott is our featured interviewee, right?
Esteemed guest.
The guest, yeah. So Scott, let's jump right into this. Give us a little bit of background, just very briefly, of like who you are, your company, what you do.
I am the previous owner. I own SLS Home Inspections for 17 years. Just sold it in September last year to my lead inspector, Luke Angel, and he has already implemented numerous exciting things like radon testing in-house, sewer scope in-house. He's going to be, we have a drone now, so we're doing some drone and roof inspections, and he just got licensed in Indiana, so we'll be able to go across the border.
Wow.
So I am more marketing and cool stuff like this to the company now, and I don't even have my license. It ended in November, so I just do marketing and scheduling and stuff like that. So mostly retired, I guess you could say, but this is the fun stuff.
But you've done, 17 years, you've done a lot of home inspections, so you know a thing or two.
Thousands, yeah.
To share with
SLS has done 6,000 plus inspections
Wow.
over the years, and so big exciting things happening for Luke. So yeah, I'm excited for him.
That's great.
So
we're talking not only to listing agents, but it could be to sellers, to buyer, to all the above, right? When we're talking about home inspections and getting your home ready to list. So as a home inspector, your buyer's coming in for a home inspection, listing agents walking around the property with their seller, what should they be looking for? Mm-hmm. What are some
the difference
major things?
Sure. The difference in the two inspections, a pre-listing or a buyer inspection, no difference in the inspection. We do the exact same inspection for each one, no changes whatsoever. The difference is because there's no transaction for a pre-listing inspection in place right now, we have a little more, I call it freedom of speech. I can tell you, Megan, this is a really big deal. You got to get this fixed. This will scare some people away. This
could blow up a deal.
This could blow up a deal in 2 seconds flat. You need to get this fixed.
What are some of those things?
We use the analogy cookies and crumbs.
Okay.
Cookies are big, structural, safety, expensive, need a qualified contractor to do the work. Crumbs, all the opposite. Simple, easy, anybody can do it. Not really a skill set needed.
What are some cookies,
Cousin
though?
Billy.
Like,
cookies, well, we literally just had one about a month ago, pre-listing. The agent who scheduled it tells her sellers all the time, we think it's a good idea if you get a pre-listing. It will help your sale go through. And this house in particular, it was a dated house. It had its share of regular crumbs, and there was this closet that was jam-packed with all this stuff, no access to the attic. And she said, don't worry about it. I go up there all the time. There's nothing there. And so
the dreaded
the
attic.
agent, so the agent, really attics, crawl spaces,
Okay.
that's what we get paid for.
Places you don't go all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Why would you?
Why would
Right.
you, right? You don't
Well, so the agent called us back a few days later because we put that in the report. We unable to access the attic. So she said, we really want this attic checked out. She's cleared out the closet now. We get in that attic, and she did go up there on occasion because there was a wire rack, like shelving, that had a bunch of like summer clothes in it. So she rotates her closets, attic, winter, summer.
That's kind of
summer.
interesting.
But
I wouldn't think to keep it there, but
if you've ever seen a truss roof, which is a connection of triangles and all, that's a truss roof with the big steel plates that stamp on each side and hold together, which are almost impossible to get apart. Trusses are supported on each end of the building. Nothing really in the center. It's all self-supporting.
Right.
Rafters are spans, big giant pieces of wood, 2x12s or 10s or whatever. This was trusses. When you get into a load situation on a truss roof and the trusses start shearing, busting off the metal plates and twisting sideways and shattering on 6 different trusses, what I believe happened was when they were putting shingles on the roof, they put the entire load of shingles in one concentrated spot on this roof. So here's 6 trusses just busted to pieces. And the lady literally said,
that's a deal breaker for a buyer, right?
the buyer would go nuts. She said, well, that's just settling. We're like, so they're getting it fixed, and which is not a minor thing. They have to take the roof off both ends to pull the truss off. So I look at pre-listing inspections this way. Say that this house that she was selling, say it's $300,000. There are only so many people that can afford a $300,000 house. Picture them all inside of a big giant pie pan, okay? A giant cherry pie pan. And everybody who can fit and buy that house is in that pie pan. And they don't get a pre-listing inspection and have that issue addressed or something else that would be a major concern. Certain number of those people in the pie pan will go structural with trusses collapsing. Whoop, they're hopping out of the pie pan. They're done.
Yeah, they're
so
done.
now your pie just got smaller.
Yep.
And then someone else sees a electrical issue. Honey, remember that electrical fire in that one house we had 30 years ago? Yeah. Nope, we're out. Pretty soon everybody's jumping out. So we can tell them, you really got to get this stuff fixed and hopefully speed up the process of fixing all those things on your own schedule with your get some quality competitive bids. So you're not just taking the first deal, first contractor that comes through the door because they know you're in a rush.
Right.
Yeah.
You really need this done fast. You're going to pay extra. So having that person give them the time to shop for bids, get it done on their schedule, then finally put the house on the market. Now it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's
So attic is a cookie, right? Attic, crawl space, electrical.
Yeah.
Those are
structural. Cookies. It could be, raccoons living in the attic.
Yeah.
Sure, you don't. If you're not up there, you don't know where mold. I see mold a lot in an I don't see it obviously, but on inspections, I have clients back out all the time due to water and mold and things like that.
The one of the things that comes up a lot, and we get a lot of pushback from some agents about this issue, but it's ventilation in an attic.
Yes.
And we go up in an attic, and it's literally a swamp, or it's 1,000,000 degrees, and we'll see rusted nails, molding plywood, rafters that look terrible, and it's usually because the two things: the bathroom is venting right up into the
attic with no other escape for the moisture.
Right.
Nope. Or they have the blown-in insulation guy has covered up all of the soffit vents all the way around, so there's a vent on the top, some vents, but there's no air coming in. You need a balance of air from here on the soffit
to come in and exit.
To go out on the exit. And some people think more is better. So we've been on houses that have ridge vent, turbine vents that spin with the wind, power vents, mushroom vents, gable vents. Like they've got the whole cornucopia of all different vent styles, and all they've done is cross-circuit each other, so no venting is really happening.
Yeah.
A little bit, but nothing what it should be. So venting is a really big one, but agents make, why do you make such a big deal about venting? And that's what, they don't talk like that, but that's what I hear.
Yeah. Scott, so let's back up just a little bit, because what I just heard from that whole thing is the moral of the story is pre-listing inspections are a good idea.
A great idea.
Because of the fact that, and this is the Cliff Notes version of it, because of the fact that as a seller, prior to you putting it on the market for listing, you're not under the time pressure. You're not under the gun, right? It's like, if you know you're going to list it next year or 6 months from now, do it now.
Yeah.
And identify the issues now. So now you have between now and the time you need to sell to take your time and fix it. You might be a handyman. You can do it on the weekends, or you can just do it at your leisure. Or if it's going to be a big expense, you've got time to kind of budget that in.
And save for it, yeah.
Exactly.
There was a house that I did last year in Tinley, and it saved this. I know agents talk. Everybody talks about certain things that are really a big deal. This poor little house would have been blacklisted if it would have gone on the market without a pre-listing, because they had a massive, major mouse infestation in their attic.
Oh, wow.
It was mouse holes and trails and tunnels up in the attic everywhere. In fact, this is disgusting, but her ceiling in her dining room, a whole section almost as big as this table, was dark golden yellow.
Oh my goodness.
So she's like, what is
No
that?
buyer is going to move forward after
Right.
that. So they're going to be on the market, off the market. And then you got buyers coming in going, what's wrong with it?
Agents would have
Taking longer
talked.
to sell.
Whatever buyer agent had come in there with their buyer and gotten that report,
Yeah.
everybody in their office would have known about it. Don't go
Yeah.
in the mouse house.
Yep, the mouse house.
It would have been a
Yes.
disaster. So they dodged a bullet, and it was just a really smart idea. A lot of times agents have the good mind, the good goal of, we really want to help these people sell this house, but you want them to get the most money.
Right.
Typically, when a buyer agent sees X issue, whatever the issue is, and they know it's going to be a $200 item to fix, they're going to say, we want a credit for $500. Or if it's $500,
They're going to round up.
They're going to round way up. And so because you're in such a crunch to sell the house,
Yeah.
you'll say, okay, we'll take it. Well, it's
Yeah.
just boom, boom. Pretty soon, 100 adds up to 1,000. 1,000 adds up to multiple thousands.
When to your point, like Joe just said, you could just slowly over 6 months, 6 to 12
Yeah.
months, if you know these sounds like great winter projects too
Yeah,
that you can
right.
take care of, right? Over the winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The market is so low of inventory, it will still be low in 6 months.
Yeah.
You'll still be able to sell your house, and you'll have it'll be such a clean sale from the inspection. Everybody will be like, we're moving. We had next to nothing on our inspection report. Let's go forward. We're going. We're not even going to request anything.
Right. So, Scott, just for the sake of our listeners, you mentioned cookies and crumbs. Just very briefly, let's list down all the major cookies that they need to be looking at, and not so much the issues behind them, but if we can just be general, like, okay, you need to look at the attics, you need to look at the basements, you need to foundation, whatever it might be. So let's go through that list real quick.
The home inspection report, it will tell you if it's the report that most agents like to see. They like to see a report with a summary page. They want to see the summary page. And there's no limit to what a buyer can request to be repaired. They could say, I want the gutter to be screwed back on, the downspout, which is 2 screws. I mean, it takes 30 seconds. You can ask for that, but you're sort of diluting the major things. So the way we do a report, start on the roof. Anything with the envelope of the house, the roof, the chimney, the venting on the roof, even though we're not in the attic yet, that's structural, but the roof is a major one. The exterior siding is a major one. The windows, anything like, not just broken glass.
So big ticket items, right? So we got roof, siding, windows.
But think about the envelope of the house. So those are really important ones. Roof, exterior, just exterior in general. Then you get into structural. Are there beams, rafters, posts, joists, all these things in a basement, foundation walls, if they're bowing in, if there's cracks going certain ways, you can just look at a wall and see that's going to be major expense. Is it fresh? A lot of times with flippers or rehabbers, what they'll do is they'll come in and just beautify a basement with new fresh paint, and you're just like, I don't know.
They're
if
not
this
fixing to underneath though.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yes, exactly.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yes,
is
exactly.
lipstick on a pig, and if you're from farm country, you'll know a bow tie on a cow pie. You'll laugh about that. But so structural is a huge one. Electrical is big. The HVAC, how old is it? Is there gas leaks? Is the air conditioner got a dog outside going to the bathroom on the side, melting down the fins on the coils and stuff? Plumbing, of course. When we test the plumbing, we run all the water all at once so we can see if it can hold the water line, the amount of water. Or is it just leaking? Is the toilet loose? Some people say, well, the toilet loose, that's just tighten up a couple of bolts. Yeah, it could be. It also could be leaking outside the wax ring, under the ceramic tile, rotting out the floor, under the vanity on the shower pan. Now you're ripping out the whole bathroom.
Yeah,
But it's
I've
just
heard
a
of
couple
stories
of-
like
it's
that
just a
before.
couple of bowls.
Slow leaks are like I
Yeah.
had that happen to friends of mine. They had a slow leak in their kitchen. They had to tear out the entire kitchen.
Kitchen
There was
floor.
mold.
Yeah.
It was rotting. It was a whole thing. So
You just don't know.
as homeowners too, we're not speaking not just to listing agents and to sellers, but as homeowners, what are some home maintenance things we can do regularly to keep up with these things? So when we go to sell our property, the listing agent's not coming in and saying, "Oh my gosh," or the inspector
Yeah.
doing a listing inspection. I'm a huge fan of maintenance schedules.
Yeah, no.
Put it on your calendar.
Yeah, but I do. I'm not going to lie. I do. I have a whole maintenance schedule. So what are some things?
So if you go back to how we do the inspection, start with the envelope of the house. If you've got gutters that don't have gutter covers on them, and
Clean
you've
them out.
got a
Yeah.
bunch of trees,
Yeah.
clean out the gutters.
How often should you clean your gutters?
If you have gutter covers, you don't have to clean them out. Just put the gutter covers on.
Okay.
Don't put those cheap plastic ones that the squirrels can chew through. There's no more vile job than digging out rotted leaf funk from inside of a gutter. It's just the most disgusting thing. So put gutter covers on that are metal that squirrels can't eat. Now you don't have water flowing over like Niagara Falls.
Uh-huh.
So make sure your gutters are covered and your downspouts extend at least 6 feet away from the house.
Yeah.
That will prevent most of the water, from coming back into your foundation. If you
Those
walk
are easy
around,
things. Clean your gutters, downspouts
super
away
easy.
from the house,
Yeah.
right? You don't think
take a
about
look at your. You don't have to climb on your roof, but just go far back with a pair of binoculars and look at your roof and see, do I see any shingles blowing off? Mm-hmm. If you see shingles in your yard, you're like, probably my neighbors. No, probably not. So that's an important thing to do. If there's wood windows, your caulking around the windows is cracking, and anywhere. Here's the rule, and this is a very simple one: water always wins.
Okay.
Water always wins. So if you've got a little dinky hole there, guess where water's going to find?
Gonna go in
Yeah,
there.
A
it's
little
gonna
dinky hole, and it's going to make it a
creep its
bigger
way
hole.
in.
So, if you see, it's good to have a date stamp of different parts of your house, like your foundation. Just take pictures and just save them and date them. And if you see a crack somewhere someday in the foundation, you're like, did we have a crack there? Hold on. Oops. Hold on. Get the little pictures out. Like, no, we did not have a crack there. So why is there a crack there? Probably because water is freezing on the outside, pushing in. Go outside and look. Oh, shoot. That gutter's disconnected right there.
Uh-huh.
You play detective.
Right.
We
right.
play detective a lot, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So if you see plumbing leaks, things like that, make sure if you have a septic system, you're getting the tank pumped, and you just common sense. Your furnace, get a cleaning and a tune-up once a year.
service your furnace.
Service the furnace and the air conditioner. If you don't do it every year, do every other year for each one. 1 year next year, 1 year next year. And there's a super simple fix for most furnace problems where there's this little wire that has some black crusty junk on it. It's like one screw, and you take it out and you clean it off from steel wool and pull it back in. Furnace guys will tell you that's 95% of their repairs is cleaning that little bar off.
And how much do they charge you for that?
Right.
Probably
Literally.
$95 an hour.
I do it.
Service call.
Yeah.
And then
I do it in September, October every year. It's literally like a 2-minute job.
I know the piece you're talking about. It's like a white ceramic with a little
Yes.
anything that comes up.
And if
Yeah.
you just take 5 minutes to do that every October before you kick
Yeah.
your heat on, or
If your
September.
furnace goes off in the middle of January, that's probably
Yeah.
what it is. Not
YouTube
always.
is a wonderful thing. If you don't know how to do it, look it up on YouTube.
YouTube
Super
University.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But Scott, what is that piece called?
I think it's the igniter. I think.
I think you're.
I mean, there's a glow rod. This is.
I know it for sure. It's not called the thingamajigger.
I'm telling you, I think it's a Durflinger.
Durflinger.
But whatever.
Where do you put the blinker fluid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you change your air in your tires?
Yeah.
You rotate your air. So the plumbing stuff is good. If something is like the toilet, like we mentioned, if the toilet's all of a sudden loose, your kids are like climbing whatever, and it's like, see the toilet moving, get it tightened up. Just don't let stuff.
Don't let it go.
Don't let it
Yes.
go.
The
It's just it's
message.
not
Don't-
going to get better.
No.
It's only going to get worse because remember, what's the rule?
Water always wins.
and,
Right.
and it will win.
Someday you will be a seller. If you're not selling your property now, I always tell like buyers going through properties, I have a couple of agents that really stress to them like, you're going to be a seller someday. So you're asking for this laundry list of things, right? So when you go to sell your property, just put yourself in that buyer's shoes.
Right.
Here's what you're going to want taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good point. But these things that Scott's talking about, you don't need to be a seller.
No,
These are things
these
that you
are
should be
home
doing
maintenance.
anyway.
Yeah, as a homeowner to
Right.
protect your investment,
Exactly.
biggest
Yeah.
investment of your life.
And we get calls all the time from renters. And you mentioned mold earlier.
Really?
Yes,
And
renters where the
renters-
homeowner's or their landlord's not taking care of the property, right?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
That is
Yes.
such a
deferred
thing.
maintenance.
There'll be
yeah.
there'll be something on a wall somewhere from a leak from a window or whatever it is, and they'll say, "Oh well, the landlord said that yucky stuff there. Just spray bleach on it, it'll go away." And I go, "Okay, first of all, that's not going to work. It's going to change the color of the mold. It's still going to be growing. It's not fixing anything." I said the only way that mold can grow is if it has a water source and a food source,
Yeah.
and some time, and you're giving it all of that. Your landlord, who depends on your rent for his income for all of his properties, because they always have a bunch, and he's counting on this property to be rentable in the future. All that would maybe have to be is a $10 tube of caulk to fix the leak around that window on the outside. But no, he's going to let it go.
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
Now,
That's it.
2 years, 3 years later, it's now something is wrong with the wall. It's bulging out. There's rip off siding.
It's grown.
Take
Now
out
we're
the
talking
drywall.
thousands of dollars.
It's
not,
into the floor and the
Yeah.
floor joists and the plywood and the deck. It's now, oh, there's ceramic there too. Oh, great. So we're jacking up ceramic. Oh, no, the color doesn't match the old ceramic. Do the whole floor. It's a giant mess because he didn't take $10
Yeah.
of caulk to fix it.
procrastination at its finest.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how they make their money. So it's
Yeah.
like it's really a good idea to keep up. But don't tell somebody to spray bleach on mold. Anybody, don't do that. Not good. So
I didn't know that there was such a thing for renters hiring you to come in and do that. So
yeah, it's
I learned something
sometimes-
new today.
It
Yeah.
sometimes gets a little sketchy because they're contemplating legal action. So then
Yeah.
we're like,
You don't want to get involved in that, but
no, and we'll just say, you know what, just you can get a mold test kit and just do it and send it off to the lab, something like that. We try and help them out. There's also they can call the local renters board or whatever it is for the municipality, and they can give them some help too. Because I've gotten calls from landlords that said, "Yeah, I guess I got to go get a mold test," and so
make sure they're not living with mold in their property.
It just helps. So, but yeah. So back to the pre-listing, I think more agents would be agreeable to it if they understood that it's to the best of both sides. The buyer's not going to be freaked out and walk away from a deal. The sellers are going to be able to do it on their own time, their own budget, their own skill set, and make the whole process a success for everybody. We want the houses to go to close just as much as everybody else does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many people. that are depending on the home inspection to be good for those buyers, that they're acceptable with what we find, there's a lot of pressure on us. You know, some agents are very blunt. This needs to be a clean inspection. Like, okay, tell the house that. We don't tell the house. We don't kill the deal. We don't say anything.
Your job is just to report the condition.
Observe and report. The house does the talking.
Yeah.
The house does all the talking. I had one agent got mad at me many, many years ago, 10 years ago, because I called out this massive termite damage in this house. And the agent said, well, what did you say? You must have said something. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
But it becomes a liability issue for you if you don't report it.
Yeah.
I have to report
And
it.
it's your license, too.
It's your license, right.
She was
correct.
upset with me because I said, I didn't say anything. The termites did all the talking.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was too smart alecky, but
She didn't like that.
I said, I don't want to sound like a smart aleck, but termites did all the talking. Well, that is pretty smart alecky.
Oh.
I said I didn't mean to.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm trying to remember the last time when I was a buyer, right? And the home inspection came through, and there were a lot of things, on pictures. It's kind of like online dating. You see the pictures online, and it looks beautiful, right?
To the eye.
Yep.
They do the Photoshop on the pictures and everything, but
it's
then
stunning.
Until you get
the sunsets
yeah,
above the wall.
until you get somebody get in there and look underneath the kitchen cabinets and go through all of the things. You just really don't. I mean, the house that I ended up buying had missing window screens. Well, when I'm there looking at
You don't notice
property,
the screens.
You don't notice
Yeah.
the screens.
Yeah.
You're not looking for that.
My first realtor told me that we were
Yeah.
buying new construction. She said, make sure screens come with the property. And you would
Yeah.
think they do, but they
Right.
didn't.
But
It
the
was
home inspector caught that, and then I was able to go back during the attorney review period and say, hey, like there was missing screens along with everything else on the report here. Some of the stuff, the Crumbs stuff, I didn't really mind. That wasn't going to be a deal killer for me. But here are the things that I'm really, really concerned about.
Yeah.
And we worked that out into the deal. Had that seller did a pre-listing inspection like you did, you're suggesting,
There wouldn't have been a delay at all.
it wouldn't have been a delay. There would have been any bumps in the road. But so the moral of the story is, if you're selling a house and you're a house seller, guess what? Your buyer, 95%, 99% of the time is going to get a home inspection.
Right.
You might as well know the condition of your house and know it ahead of time rather than having the buyer's inspector tell you what's wrong with it.
Well, and my brain goes to then you kind of know if they're asking for anything ridiculous
Yes,
too.
right.
Like you're informed and you're like, no, I did a home inspection. That didn't come up.
Yes.
That's crazy
Right.
to me. I would want that
Yeah.
knowledge personally.
Yeah,
So-
no, it helps out a huge amount, and people are always. You hope that people are like, I want to make sure my house is safe for this new family moving in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you hope that's how people feel, and would want to do that. There's just not everybody's not the same, not wired the same.
I hate to bring this up, but we're trying to just be transparent with all the listeners. What does a pre-listing inspection run? Like approximate? It doesn't have to be exact, but you probably go by square foot or what? How do you price that?
We have a base price, and then basically anything that adds time to an inspection adds to the fee a little
Sure.
bit. So if we have to drive to Marseilles, it's going to be a little bit more. If we have a crawl space, it's going to be a little bit more. If there's a detached garage where we're resetting up the ladder, safely and all that stuff. If it's a super, well, not super old, but anything older than 60 years is where we break it. So 60 years from 1965 and older, up to 100 years is going to be a little bit of a price increase. And above 100 years, because older homes take longer. They have more things going on.
Yeah.
So you could look at anywhere from 480 to 500, 525, something like that.
Okay.
So you
Just so our listeners kind of
so
get
on
an idea.
average, $500.
Right.
yeah,
$500.
maybe something like that.
And
Give
you know
or
what?
take, be flexible.
That's a great investment, though.
I
by
think so.
all
my goodness.
every
Yeah.
check you can imagine, it makes sense. You mentioned new construction, and we even recommend people getting new construction inspection.
Absolutely.
I did.
You
I
should.
did.
Because I had one where something wasn't connected in the crawl space. Like, I don't know if it was
Showers.
a pipe or something.
Showers
Yes,
usually are
and
not
so it's like
connected.
builders are not perfect. They're putting together these homes as quickly as they possibly can. Mistakes happen. People are human. I think new construction is even more important.
You know what I did when I bought my house? I waited real close to the 12-month anniversary.
It's been 11 months.
Builder
the builder-
recommended that.
Well, somebody recommended it to me, but the reason for that is because the builder will
a
give
one-year
you
warranty.
a one-year
One-year
warranty,
warranty, yes.
where they're going to come back one time and
Fix
fix
your
what.
blue tape everywhere.
Yes,
We do 11-month inspections.
my house looked like a spotted leopard,
Yes.
just blue tape everywhere.
All the nail
you know?
pops, all the things.
So at that point in time, I brought in a home inspector and pointed out a couple things, and
Because you've been living in it.
yeah, now I know,
know.
right?
Yeah.
yeah. So
We had a new construction where when the blown-in insulation company, in an attic, there's this is a rafter roof, not a truss, but there's a ridge pole holding up the ridge beam. There's this piece of paper stapled on their certification, 25 bags of blown-in insulation, 28 of the vent baffles all around, signed R19, blah, blah, blah. There wasn't a cotton ball worth of insulation.
oh no,
The whole attic was just like bare drywall.
it was bare.
Wow.
It wasn't
Bare
insulated.
drywall, but it was signed, billed. The builder paid for it.
How did that pass like village inspection?
He didn't have his ladder that day.
Someone did.
Oh my gosh,
I
that is
guarantee the guy didn't look.
oh my
You
goodness.
know that.
But it was all signed off, so they said, Billy, go put this insulation. This is the insulation. Okay. Staples it on and closes the hatch.
Wow.
You're back early. Yeah, it was fast. It just
Wow.
we've seen everything.
Insane. Well, we are about at the end of our time here. We appreciate your expertise, your thoughtful insight.
All the stories.
Everything, yes. The cookies and the crumbs, that's a great analogy.
Some
Scott,
people say forest and trees.
Yeah.
We like cookies and crumbs.
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people say, is that a cookie or is that a crumb? I go, so you know that cookie you get from Papa John's that's like got frosting and sprinkles on it? That's what you got.
Yeah, you got a cookie cake.
Whoa, what?
You got a cookie cake.
Scott, how do the listeners get in touch with you?
Sure. We're super easy to schedule with SLSHomeInspections.com. That's online, scheduled 24/7, and sitting in your underwear in the middle of the night going, oh no, I forgot to schedule. You can go online and schedule, find a day and time that works. We'll confirm with you. You can also call 815-644-6271, and I'm the answering guy. So that's, and if you want to hear some other fun stories, just ask me and I'll be happy to tell you.
I've spent some
Yeah.
time with you. I know that you got some great stories.
Inspectors have the best stories. They really.
I really
do.
should write
I
a
mean, we
book.
all have stories, but
You probably
inspectors have fun
should.
I was going to write a book. I even had a title. It was gonna
I'd
be
buy
called-
one.
I would.
called How Are You Not Dead? Or Now I've Seen Everything, I thought.
I say that all the time in lending, real estate, just everything. Just when you thought you've seen it all, something new happens. Like,
yeah.
we're never bored, right?
Seen everything, right? And I go,
We're
never saw that.
We're never bored.
I make that picture of that kid on that meme that goes like,
Yeah, makes the face.
Yep.
Aw, well, thank you so much for
yep,
your time.
it was a
We
pleasure.
really appreciate
Always
it.
fun. We should do it again. Just tell stories.
Yeah.
Just tell stories. All right, so we're just going to wrap things up here. We'd like to remind the listeners to be sure to follow us on the socials and share this podcast. Scott, again, thank you. SLS
welcome.
Home Inspections. Megan, my co-host,
Yes, thank you, Joe.
thank you. Take care, everybody.
All right,
Yep,
take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Real Estate Ripple. We hope you're walking away with some valuable insights and a fresh perspective on the world of real estate.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Whether you're on the go or closing deals, we've got you covered every week.
And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd love for you to leave a review and share the Real Estate Ripple with fellow realtors, lenders, and anyone who wants to stay ahead of the ever-changing market.
Until next time, keep making waves in real estate and remember, every ripple counts.